we now have a fascinating company called the Funky Iron Company. We have the CEO, Joe Sillett. Welcome, Joe.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Tell us about your run-in with Sir Steve Redgrave.
That's a long time ago now, Grant, actually. So it was one of those things. I wanted to run the London Marathon once, and just to be able to tick that off on my sheet of things that I've done in my life. It was back in 2001. Had a wonderful day running around. It was obviously a long way to run, 26.2 miles. And literally I was coming around Buckingham Palace, running around the corner, and I thought, there's Sir Steve Redgrave, finished about 10 yards behind him. So it was a really great experience, actually.
Excellent, fantastic. Well, you have 8 minutes to give us your pitch for the Funky Iron Company.
Okay, well, thank you very much indeed. So the Funky Iron Company is a company that my wife and I founded in 2016. We've had two successful seeders raises before this current campaign that started last Monday. And essentially what we're looking to do is bring out and launch, which we have started 11 weeks ago, a new stylish looking steam iron. So if you think that, you know, other kitchen household products and appliances went stylish, beautiful looking, colourful, metallic, we looked at the iron market and we felt that there was something not quite there in terms of nothing in that marketplace that filled that void and gap. So my wife and I have designed this new looking steam iron called the Funky Iron, and we think that visually certainly looks different. Functionality wise, it's really where it needs to be at the price point in terms of it being kind of a hybrid model of having a steam pump inside of the iron that pushes through the continuous steam. So at the moment we've launched a range of 3 Funky Irons at the end of November. We've been trading for 12 weeks. Sales have been very, very good indeed. We've got our own website, we're on Amazon as well. We want to land the product successfully, widen out the product range from the existing 3 colours up to maybe a maximum of 9 colours. And then in due course, when we're successful in having landed the product both domestically and internationally, we'd like to look at maybe taking the funky concept in terms of what we've done with the iron to other areas, including toasters, kettles, maybe air fryers and other stuff. But we're really excited by what's going on at the moment. It's been quite a long journey in terms of the product development itself. So it all started with a design on a piece of paper back in June 2016. Once my wife and I were clear about how the iron should look, we then worked with some professional designers. I first went out to China in October 2016. I've been working with a leading steam iron factory there since that time. And it took me the best part of 2 years from the moment I got to know the team at the factory in China to having our first product manufacturing run, which was in November, or the tail end of October, and then into November 2018, and then we got the product into market in Q4 last year. So to date we've had some excellent reviews both on our own website and on Amazon. So 47 of the first 54 reviews have been 5-star rated, which is great, and the product itself has been given the status of Good Housekeeping Institute approved 2019. In due course, we'd like to widen out the product range, so we'd like to introduce some ironing boards and some ironing related accessories, so collapsible laundry baskets and other bits and pieces. Customer reviews I've touched on already. Obviously, in this day and age, you live and fall or die by the sword in terms of negative reviews if they're out there. The flip side of that is if you have a really strong kind of offering in terms of what your customer base is telling you, that is really very uplifting. So as I say, 47 out of 54 5-star reviews to date has been a fantastic start for us. Competitive landscape, well, everyone watching this afternoon will recognise those household names that we're competing alongside. So on Amazon at $69.99, our Funky Iron is going head to head with Philips, Bosch, Tefal, Russell Hobbs, Rowenta, Morphy Richards, Braun, Breville, JML. But we're not frightened by that because our iron looks different to all competitive products. So really it's a uniquely looking product, and people have described it as beautiful, impressive, performs superbly. So we're up against the competitors and we aim to put a different product into the marketplace. In terms of market share, it's a big marketplace, the iron market. So in the UK it's worth about £204 million, Europe £1.3 billion, Worldwide market is £3.3 billion. You wouldn't need to have a big share of that marketplace to have a really good business. And that's what our business plan is kind of catering for, is just taking a little market share off everyone in the marketplace. And doing it in a sensible way by working with specialists. So we work with an Amazon agency that are specialists in what they do, a digital agency, we've got a PR agency on board, and we're confident that in this kind of internet-driven, very social media world that we're operating in today, that the online strength of reviews recommendations and referrals will work very well for us. We've talked to and are talking to several leading household retail names at the moment. So all of those names on your screen have been sent a funky iron. We've had the offer of distribution from AO.com when we go via a distributor. So we haven't appointed a distributor yet, but we will go. AO have given us that offer. Dunelm have also offered us a trial, and we're just talking to them at the moment as well. And I would expect very strongly that in the next 3 to 6 months that we will convert some of those other names and others that will step forward, that will see the strength of our Amazon reviews and know that actually we have designed and launched a product that not only looks great but performs great as well. So our key objective: historical investment and expenditure. So obviously we've had 2 Seeders rounds before this current round, and a lot of the early money has been on research and development in terms of the product, the tooling, the mold costs at the factory, a lot of money on IP, of course, because we need to register what we've designed so that we've got good protection. And we're confident that we've spent the money in a wise way, and that any investors coming into this round will see that historically we've been pretty prudent in terms of how we've allocated funds and what we've spent. IP I've touched on, so we've got international design registrations in China, America, all over Europe, UK, trademarks as well in all of those territories, because if you've got a good idea and people like it, guess what? Someone's going to want to copy you immediately. The team, it's me and my wife. We've been working on this full time since 2016. We've got 2 lead investors on our management team, Jim and Jason. And then we invited Peter Groom onto our management team. Peter's got extensive experience in the consumer product industry, having worked with Flip Video, with Fitbit, and now with Tile. So we've got some really good key strengths and skills in our management team. Headline numbers.
We talked about some obvious comparisons there before we went to air.
I think it's very interesting. I think it parallels Dyson, and I think Dyson's strategy was innovation, basically superior product through innovation. So could you tell us a bit more about why this is more innovative and what you've done that makes it different from the regular iron I might buy in the shops?
Sure, I'm very happy to, Eddie. So I think just, first up, looking at the product itself, it's very, very clear visually that it's different from other looking irons. So it's kind of retro and modern at the same time, so it's got the kind of classic old school looks. I would say that this is very much evolution and not revolution. So we're not claiming to have invented an iron that does, close at 1 million miles an hour or does this, that and the other. This is a really nice rolled up product that is great looking but also very good functionality wise. So that's why I'm saying it's evolution and not revolution. So we're not, it's not a bagless vacuum cleaner or anything like that, but we have a steam pump inside this handheld iron that delivers continuous steam through the sole plate and gives you that good quality performance that you would expect from something that will cost $69.99. And so far, as the product reviews have borne out, people very much agree with what we're saying, which is fantastic.
And if you position that against the alternatives, if I walk into John Lewis or Selfridges or whatever now, how does that fit with the other irons out there in terms of price and performance or features? Yeah,
sure. So one of the documents investors can access on our pitch on Seeders is really a matrix of every product in the marketplace at John Lewis, at Curry's and at other stores in terms of functionality. So the wattage, 2600 watts, the length of cord, 3 meter cord, the water tank being the biggest on the market at 450 millilitre water tank. And really then with the looks and the kind of steam pump coming into play as well, ultimately does it do what you want it to do? And at that price point, pound for pound, going up against a Philips, a Rowenta, a Tefl, or a Braun or a Bosch or whatever, we've tested them all as well, because part of the process is that we needed to get close to the product to understand what other brands did, how they performed. We're very confident that ours has landed very well.
What were you doing before the Funky Iron Company, Joe?
Yeah, one of my previous businesses might be known to people. So I, with my father a very long time ago, or a time ago, designed a new shaped cricket bat. And we brought that to market. So the brand name was Woodworm. So we grew very quickly. We did really well. We had players like Andrew Flintoff and Kevin Peterson that used to use my gear around the world, and other players, Brett Lee in Australia, Dwayne Bravo in West Indies. And we managed to go into a marketplace with a new idea. Dad and I kind of designed a different shaped cricket bat. And we felt that with a new idea going into a marketplace and a slightly different design, we had a story to tell. And I always think if you go into a marketplace, you need to have a story, which is why, waiting for this business to come along, I felt very much that we needed to have something where there was a story. And it all started back at a talk that Nick Jenkins and Mike Clare gave in Southampton that I went to in 2016. So Mike Clare of Dreams Beds and Nick Jenkins from Dragon's Den and Moonpig. I asked the first question on the evening and I said, guys, this might sound a bit strange coming from someone that's already started 3 businesses, but how do you go about finding a good idea for a new business? Mike said, find something that everyone needs, that they need to buy and have in their houses, and put your own twist on it. Nick said exactly the same. Find something that people need, put your own slant in it, and then just get on with it. And literally 4 days later, my wife and I were in the car traveling to our local hardware store, where we were talking about, she mentioned ironing board covers being pretty dull and not very funky. And I said, no, not ironing board covers. Think about it. There are no funky irons in the world. And that's how the idea came about.
Fantastic. And what do you, by year 3, 4 and 5, what are you projecting will be the wholesale market for you and direct-to-consumer market?
I think at the moment we're saying that our online will have a bias. So in my business plan, I'm saying kind of 65%, 35% online versus offline. I don't think any trends that I've seen recently in terms of the proliferation of Amazon sales, internet sales going up and up, you know, high street having some difficulties around kind of, you know, cost and what they can move product for. I think online will major and take the majority of our sales, which is why I'm saying 65%, 35%. But of course, a couple of big accounts that then come in and do very well with it, that can change that balance. And it might even back out to 50-50. So I'm giving my best educated guess at the moment as to what I think it will be. But then I'm not Mystic Megan. I can't quite see into the future in terms of what's going to happen. So
I always go to Which online when I'm going to buy a domestic appliance. Have you had any reviews on Which yet?
No, but I think that's coming shortly. We have had the product reviewed by the Good Housekeeping Institute, and they've given it the status of Good Housekeeping Institute approved 2019 because it passed their rigorous standards robustly, and they commented that it was a really strong performing iron. So we were very happy with that.
Fantastic. Joe Sillett from the Funky Iron Company, currently raising on Cedars.